you probably know it can feel like a pretty confusing journey. So today, we're going to cut right through all that noise. We're going to talk about the symptoms that get you asking questions in the first place, the official rules you're going to run into, the real-world frustrations that so many guys face, and yeah, the new, more direct ways to actually get care. And let's just start right here with this feeling, because I think a lot of men can relate to this. You feel like something is genuinely wrong, that it's messing with your quality of life, but you're worried that no one's going to take you seriously. Honestly, this is the heart of the problem, and it's why so many guys start digging around for answers themselves.
Okay, so let's get into it. What do we even mean when we say low T? Usually, it doesn't start with a number from a blood test. It starts with a feeling that something is just, well, off. And the signs, they're often things you can't quite put your finger on, right? It's that deep, nagging fatigue that even a good night's sleep doesn't seem to fix. It's struggling to stay in shape when you feel like you're doing everything right. It's a noticeable drop in your sex drive, or that really frustrating brain fog that just kills your concentration. These are the kinds of red flags that make guys think, okay, maybe I should get this checked out.
But here's the thing, and this is super important. All of these symptoms are really common. They can overlap with stress, not getting enough sleep, a bad diet, depression, you name it. And that's exactly why you can't just jump to conclusions. It's why getting a proper medical diagnosis is absolutely essential. So, how do doctors officially diagnose low testosterone? Let's take a look at the actual rule book, based on the guidelines from the Endocrine Society of Australia to see how it's supposed to be done. Right, so the official medical term isn't actually low T. It's pathological hypogonadism. And that word, pathological, is really the key here. It means the low testosterone is being caused by an actual disease or dysfunction in the body's hormone-making system, whether that's in the testes, the pituitary gland, or the hypothalamus. And when you look at this checklist, you really see how rigorous the official process is supposed to be. It's not just one quick test. It starts with the doctor actually listening to your symptoms. Then you get blood tests for a whole panel of hormones. And the conditions for that test are super strict. You have to get your blood drawn early in the morning on an empty stomach because that's when your levels are most stable and reliable. And even then, one low result isn't enough. It has to be confirmed with a second test just to be sure. So the main takeaway from all the official stuff is this. Context is everything. A proper diagnosis needs the whole picture, your symptoms plus confirmed blood work. It's not just about a single number falling below some line on a lab report. So, okay, that's how it's supposed to work on paper. But for a lot of guys in Perth, there's often this huge gap between those strict rules and what they actually experience when they try to get help. And this right here really highlights that disconnect. On one side, you have the guidelines, but on the other, you have the real-world experience. Guys talk about feeling completely dismissed by their GP because their blood test was, just 1 point inside the normal range, even though they have all the symptoms. Or they face crazy long wait lists to see a specialist. All their quality of life is just going down the drain.
Which, of course, leads to the big question. If the traditional way feels like you're just hitting a brick wall, what are your alternatives? Where are guys supposed to turn when they feel like the system just isn't listening?
Well, this is where telehealth clinics have really stepped in. They're a modern alternative, and they're pretty much designed to fix these exact frustrations and give guys a much more direct, streamlined path to getting assessed and treated. And the telehealth process, as you can see, is really built around convenience and making it accessible. You book your appointment online, they send you for blood tests at a local clinic right near your suburb, doesn't matter if you're in Joondalup or out in Kalgoorlie, then you review everything with a doctor over a video call, and if you're eligible for treatment, it's delivered right to your door. For the FIFO lifestyle that's so common in WA, this kind of model can be an absolute game changer. All right, so let's get into the nitty-gritty. If you do go down this road, what are the actual treatment options? How much is this all going to cost? And what is the ongoing care, which, by the way, is absolutely critical? What does that look like? So you've generally got two main options here. There are gels and creams that you apply every day, but the thing is, how well your skin absorbs them can be a bit inconsistent. Plus, there's a risk of accidentally transferring it to your partner or kids through skin contact. Then you have injections. They're often what the specialist clinics prefer because they tend to give you much more stable and sustained hormone levels, which usually leads to more consistent results. Okay, let's break down the costs, because it's never just one single fee. You've got the clinic's annual fee, the cost for all the pathology and blood tests, and then the pharmacy cost for the medication itself.
And as you can see, different clinics structure their pricing differently. Some will bundle the pathology costs into their main fee, while others charge for it separately. It's really important to look at that total annual cost to get a real sense of what you'll be paying. And this is a hugely important point to really let sink in before starting anything. TRT isn't like taking a course of antibiotics that you finish and you're done. Once you start giving your body external testosterone, your own natural production pretty much shuts down. This makes it a very long-term and, for most men, a lifelong medical commitment.
And because it's such a long-term commitment, ongoing medical monitoring is completely non-negotiable. It's about safety and making sure the treatment actually works. A good clinic will regularly check in to see if your symptoms are improving, that your hormone levels are in that sweet spot, and they'll keep an eye on key health markers like your red blood cell count to make sure your blood isn't getting too thick, as well as your prostate health. This is what responsible, long-term medical care is all about. So we'll end on this thought. For guys in Perth, especially those on tough rosters or living outside the city, the old-school model of healthcare definitely has its challenges. The rise of telehealth is a really significant shift, and it suggests that, for a lot of men, the future of managing their health might really depend more on a good Wi-Fi connection than a trip to a waiting room.